started and call this meeting to order, correct? Great. Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is being held via Zoom conference call due to the COVID-19 crisis. Members of the public may participate by following the instructions listed on the agenda. You may also view and listen to the meeting on live stream cable TV, Granicus, and YouTube. If you would like to provide public comment, you have two methods to identify to provide public comment. All members of the public will remain on mute until the individual identifies they would like to speak and you are unmuted. Following roll call during summary of hearing procedure, we will review how the public may provide comment during today's session. So now I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Bonilla?
Aye, here.
Commissioner Casey?
Here.
Commissioner Garcia?
Here.
Commissioner Lardinoff? Commissioner Oliverio?
Here.
Commissioner Torrens?
Here.
Welcome to our new commissioners. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to serving with you.
Here, I just got here, so I think I missed the roll call.
Okay, was that Commissioner Lardinoff?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Commissioner Lardinoff is with us. Wonderful. So summary of hearing procedures. The procedure for this hearing is as follows. After the staff report, applicants and appellants may make 5-minute presentation. City staff will call out names of the public who identified the items they want to speak on. You may identify yourself by the raised hand feature on Zoom, click 9 on your phone, or you may call 408-535-3505 or email planningsupportstaff@sanjoseca.gov and identify your name, phone number, and what items you would like to speak on. As your name is called, city staff will unmute you to speak. After we confirm your audio is working, your allotted time will begin. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. Speakers using a translator will have 4 minutes. After the public testimony, the applicant and appellant may make closing remarks for an additional 5 minutes. Planning commissioners may ask questions of the speakers. A response to commissioner questions will not reduce the speaker's time allowance. Staff will unmute the speaker to respond to the commissioner. The public hearing will then be closed and the Planning Commission will take action on the item. The Planning Commission may request staff to respond to public testimony and ask staff questions and discuss the items. If you challenge these land use decisions in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at this public hearing or in written correspondence delivered to you to the city at or prior to the public hearing. The Planning Commission's actions on rezonings, pre-zonings, general plan amendments, and code amendments is only advisory to the City Council. The City Council will hold public hearings on these items. Section 20.120.400 of the Municipal Code provides the procedures for legal protest to the City Council on rezonings and pre-zonings. The Planning Commission's action on conditional use permits is appealable to the City Council in accordance with Section 20.100.220 of the Municipal Code. Okay. So now we will move to recognition of Michelle Yasny's service to the City Council, City of San Jose and Planning Commission. So I see Michelle's there. Oops. And give me just 1 second because I appear to have lost my items. Apologize for that. So the City of San Jose would like to thank Michelle for her service to the Planning Commission and also to the City of San Jose. And I'll be reading a resolution that the city has put together for to recognize her. Whereas Ms. Michelle Yasny has served as a member of the Planning Commission from July 1st, 2016 until June 30th, 2020, and whereas Ms. Michelle Yasny, Planning Commissioner of the City of San Jose, has given of herself with devotion, honor, dignity, and integrity, and whereas Ms. Michelle Yasny has served with an interest in land use planning and understanding and respect for all citizens of San Jose of diverse opinions and backgrounds, and whereas Ms. Michelle Yasny will be remembered as a hardworking and sincere member of the Planning Commission of the City of San Jose. Now, therefore, City of San Jose unanimously approve this resolution of commendation. And I just want to take a moment to thank Michelle for her dedication to the Planning Commission. I've appreciated serving with her for the last few months. Her technical skill and her background and just passion for planning always comes through at every meeting, and I really appreciated always having the opportunity to discuss the items before us with her and to have her opinion. So she will be missed, but hopefully she'll continue serving our city in other ways. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to if any of the other commissioners would like to speak.
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Oliverio.
Thank you. I don't have a raise hand option. I just wanted to thank Michelle again. You're having the history that you have with San Jose, having that technical expertise as a planner, and then also your kindness and mindfulness of explaining to residents when they come to the Planning Commission that what we're approving, even though they may not dislike it because of high density, et cetera, it's where the city is going with the general plan, and you always did that in a very kind and effective manner. So you'll be really missed. I really enjoyed working with you, and thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to call on Vice Chair Bonilla, who has his hands raised.
Michelle, thank you for your service to the city. I know that in my time on the commission, just listening to your questions and the way you would analytically break things down and bring your experience was tremendously helpful. Technical issues aside, I think the one thing that really struck me is that you serve because you care. You serve because you believe in the future of the city, and to me that was inspiring. So thank you. And as they say, although goodbye here, I definitely look forward to hopefully being able to continue the relationship when we get to normal here.
Great. Would any of the other commissioners like to say anything? And Michelle, would you like to address the commission?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's so nice to see you as the chair. You're doing a great job. And thank you for the kind words from all of you. I came on the Planning Commission as the last position, the last place to box out my planning experience in San Jose. And it was a challenge and very satisfying. I hope all of you get as much satisfaction out of serving on the commission as I did for the last 5 years. My one request of all of you as planning commissioners is to look out for the urban forest. San Jose is going to change a lot in the next few years. Our general plan is moving in that direction, and it's where we want to go, which means that we are going to remove tens of thousands of mature trees in order to reach our goal. And in order to do that and not make excessive increases to climate change, we need to replace them. And frequently the Planning Commission is the last line of defense. So maybe it doesn't seem as overwhelmingly important as providing the housing we need to comfortably house our population. But to keep San Jose a pleasant place to live and work, to fight off climate change to the extent we can, and to make all of our neighborhoods better to live in, please, commissioners, remember the forest. Thank you very much, and thank you for the honor you're showing me this evening. That's it.
I was on mute. At this time, I have two other commendations to read. Thank you so much, Commissioner Yasny, for those words, and we will definitely take that to heart as we consider upcoming developments. So the next commendation I'm going to read is for former Chair Shiloh Ballard. So be it resolved by the Planning Department of the City of San Jose, whereas Ms. Shiloh Ballard has served as a member of the Planning Commission from July 1st, 2016 until June 30th, 2020, and as chairperson from June 12th, 2019 until June 30th, 2020. And whereas Ms. Shiloh Ballard, Planning Commissioner of the City of San Jose, has given of herself with devotion, honor, dignity, and integrity. And whereas Ms. Shiloh Ballard has served with an interest in land use planning and an understanding and respect for all citizens of San Jose of diverse opinions and backgrounds. And whereas Ms. Shiloh Ballard will be remembered as a hardworking and sincere member of the Planning Commission of the City of San Jose, now, therefore, the staff of the Planning Department of the City of San Jose unanimously approve this resolution of commendation. Shiloh is not with us today, but we'll make sure that she gets her commendation as well. And I have one more. For Commissioner Allen, be it resolved by the Planning Department of the City of San Jose, whereas Mr. Peter Allen has served as a member of the Planning Commission from August 9th, 2016 until June 30th, 2020, and whereas Mr. Peter Allen, Planning Commissioner of the City of San Jose, has given of himself with devotion, honor, dignity, and integrity, and whereas Mr. Peter Allen has served with an interest in land use planning and an understanding and respect for all citizens of San Jose of diverse opinions and backgrounds, and whereas Mr. Peter Allen will be remembered as a hardworking and sincere member of the Planning Commission of the City of San Jose, now therefore the staff of the Planning Department of the City of San Jose unanimously approve this resolution of commendation. So thank you to both Shiloh and to Shiloh and to Peter for serving on the Planning Commission for the last 4 years. We will miss them as well. And but we're excited to start a new year with a brand new Planning Commission. So that being said, let me go to our next item. Okay. I already did the summary of hearing procedures. It looks like I took that out of order. Sorry about that, Vera. And so the next topic is public comment. And staff, do we have anyone who's speaking on public comment?
We have one hand raised. B. Beekman, you are unmuted. Please unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I have 2 minutes to speak.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm at 153. Okay, I wanted to offer that as a planning commission, you have a responsibility to someone needs to mute their background noise is really loud. Thank you. It needs to be noted that as planning commission, you have an obligation and a job to look over how 5G and broadband is reviewed and placed in certain parts of the city. And I hope that's still your job after COVID-19. Things are strange. I just wanted to remind, there's a lot of good new practices that are possible at this time, and open accountability practices, and to practice that with the community is vitally important. And don't let corporations slip by. Make them accountable and work on that, please. And to say that we can accomplish just about as much with minimal use practices with technology and broadband and 5G as the oversaturation of local neighborhoods with technology and broadband. I think minimal use practices can do a lot, and I hope you can respect that. With my remaining 45 seconds, I wanted to quickly offer that there's a upcoming Strong Mayor initiative, and I just wanted to remind yourselves of, over 50, 60 years of, we've always relied on a city charter process, community meeting process with the city charter to decide the future of strong mayor issues. And the council should always have, I feel, a strong voice and a part in the future of strong mayor issues. And that I hope we can consider the low-hanging fruit, that if we all work on those issues at this time, that will make for a unity as a community in the following months. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beekman. Staff, do we have any other speakers?
No, not at this time.
Great. So we'll move on to item number 3, deferrals and removals. It looks like we have one request to remove. I don't think, Vera, we don't need a motion on that, do we? Sorry. Oop, you're on mute.
Usually we do make a motion because you are deferring the item to another commission date.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion?
So moved.
I think was that Commissioner Oliveria?
Yes, Chair.
Great. So we have a motion by Commissioner Oliveria. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bonilla.
And to clarify the motion, it is to approve the staff recommendation to defer the item to July 22nd, 2020.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Do we have any discussion on that item? Seeing none, let's take a roll call vote. Commissioner Bonilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Torrens?
Aye.
Commissioner Casey?
Aye.
Commissioner Oliveria?
Aye.
Commissioner Lardinois?
Aye.
And Commissioner Caballero is also an aye. Thank you. So that motion passes. Item number 4, the consent calendar. We have 2 items on consent. CP 20-007, which is an administrative hearing, and CP 19-034, also administrative hearing. Both are for conditional use permit. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar as recommended by staff?
I move that we move forward with staff's recommendation.
Second.
Excuse me, this is Vera. I needed to make a comment on 4B. The motion needs to include a change that was requested by staff. I noticed that they didn't bring it up right now, so let's confirm with Laura Miners that we still need this. But there was a change on item 4B. It was on the CUP resolution, which is attached as Exhibit D. It's on page 14 of 18. Section 8, which talks about staggered drop-off and pickup at this child care center, I will mention the languages to be added. It's in the first line of the condition of approval, and it says drop-off and pickup of children shall, and these are the added words, occur on site and shall, and those are the added words, be staggered as follows. So that is the way that the condition should read now.
Pardon me, Madam Chair, also I believe there needs to be an opportunity for the public to request to speak on these items. I know there is some interest for this other item. Or
there does need to be public comment, and I wanted to add that to the record. Thank you.
Yes, I was just going to ask if staff had any additional comments before we did public comment.
Aye. Okay.
And do we have any additional comments from staff or presentation of the items?
No presentation.
Okay. Oh, Laura Meniers has her hand up.
Hi, this is Laura Miners. I have an oral staff presentation. I'm not sure of the order, if the public has to present their comment first, or if I should do a staff report now.
So, Laura, I believe the chair will move this to the public hearing portion.
Ah, got it.
Okay. For the clerk's office, how many speaker requests do we have?
I see one hand up. And
I do as well. Okay, so at this time, we'll move this item, which is item 4B, to the public hearing. And if we could, do we have any other comments on public consent calendar item 4A? Not
We have one hand raised. I don't know if this was for 4A or 4B. Petra, you are unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. This is for 4B and it's a public hearing thing.
Okay.
Am I forward with that?
Okay, I will put you on for 4B to speak.
Yeah, perfect. Please let me know when I can speak.
great.
So this is Vera Todorov. The motion then needs to be amended to just include item 4A. Exactly. Thank you.
Great. If I could get a motion to approve consent calendar item 4A per the staff recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Lardenois? Who
Yeah.
was the second?
Oh, someone else said it as well, so I'm happy to defer to whoever else.
Commissioner Vice Chair Bonilla, we have a second. Would either of the commissioners like to speak to the motion?
No.
Okay, we can do a roll call vote. Commissioner Bonilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Casey?
Aye.
Commissioner Torrens?
Aye.
Commissioner Oliverio?
Aye.
And Commissioner Lardenois?
Aye.
And Commissioner Caballero is also an aye.
And Garcia.
Commissioner Garcia has joined us?
I've been here.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Uh,
Aye as well.
I think we missed you in the roll call originally. I apologize about that. So, great.
Yeah,
So
he was in the roll call.
passes unanimously. So we'll go to, we'll move item 4B to public hearings. And I think at this time, I can start with the staff report.
Sure. I have a prepared staff report that I will read. Thank you and good evening, commissioners. My name is Laura Miners, the planning project manager for this request. This is a conditional use permit request by applicant Atul Sharma to allow the conversion of a vacant medical office building into a daycare center for up to 80 children with an outdoor playground, associated modifications to the parking and landscaping, and the removal of one ordinance-sized tree on a site approximately 0.32 gross acres in size at 5460 Delwood Way. The scope of the project includes removing the southerly entrance driveway from Delwood Way and expanding the northerly driveway to be used as the only vehicular entry and exit. The expansion of the driveway requires the removal of approximately 744 square feet of the existing structure adjacent to the northerly driveway. No exterior alterations will be made to the building other than the removal of the 744 square feet on the north end of the building to increase the size of the required access driveway, the resulting construction of a new exterior wall on the northern side of the building, and the addition of exterior lighting. All interior walls will be demolished with the exception of the entry lobby, and interior improvements will consist of 4 classrooms, 2 offices, a kitchen, and 4 restrooms. Daycares are allowed in the neighborhood community commercial general plan land use designation and in the commercial office zoning district with a conditional use permit. The project is consistent with all relevant general plan policies, the zoning ordinance, and the council policies on childcare and public outreach. The hours of operation for the daycare center are Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. and closed on the weekend. The daycare center is for children from 18 months to 5 years old. There will be staggered drop-off and pickup times assigned, including 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon, up to 30 children per hour. The daycare would have a maximum of 80 children, 6 full-time teachers, 1 teacher who will also serve as an administrator, and 1 full-time administrator. Outdoor play times at the daycare will be staggered from 11 a.m. to noon and from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., with a maximum of 40 children on the playground at any time. There are commercial uses to the east, west, and south of the property, and residential uses to the north. Noise from the playground area has been evaluated and determined to be consistent with the zoning performance standards and the general plan noise criteria at both the commercial and residential property lines. An environmental exception has been prepared for the project and is included as part of the staff report. The exception evaluates the environmental impacts and concludes that the project will not result in any significant impacts to applicable resources, such as transportation, noise, or biological resources. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission find that the project is in conformance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, and approve the proposed conditional use permit on the subject site. Please note that since the draft permit was posted, that there has been one change to condition number 8, as Vera mentioned. We are adding language to the condition that drop-off and pickup must occur on site. In response to the inquiry from the neighbor, please note that staff members from Public Works are available to answer questions regarding traffic issues. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. So at this time, I think I open the public hearing and we allow the applicant 5 minutes to make their presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can someone move the applicant over to the panelists?
Yes, Atul, you are unmuted. Let me promote to panelist.
Hello, this is Petra. Can you hear me?
That's not the applicant.
Petra, this time is for the applicant to make his presentation. We'll get to you soon.
Atul, you should be unmuted. If you could unmute yourself and see if that works.
Atul, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
Can I come on the
Yeah.
line now?
Yes. Is it possible for you to share your screen?
Hello. My name is Atul Sharma. I am owner of Alka Montessori, and I have. Where is my screen? Okay, let me speak without my screen coming to you because I think there is a certain technical error. As I mentioned, my name is Atul Sharma and I am owner of Alka Montessori. We are running a daycare center in California, in Campbell. And we have been running it for the past 8 to 9 years. My wife is the director over there. And she has been running this center for last 10 years. Based on our experience, I would like to inform you that we have had experience in terms of the traffic, in terms of other issues like noise and neighborhood relationship. We have been a very good neighbor in Campbell, and we would like to do the same thing in San Jose, on Delwood Avenue. Uh, just to give you an idea, this old building has been there for many years lying vacant, and we have decided to make it into a very nice and uh, uh, improvement over here. The current building was undergoing vandalism and other trespassing, which has been controlled by us, and we intend to provide a good quality and wholesome education to the kids. We have performed a detailed traffic study as mentioned by Laura, as well as the noise study over a period of last 4 months. And as agreed, and we have initially offered that we will be doing the drop-off as well as the pickup from the rear parking lot and through the rear entrance. The property will be working from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the large window, as mentioned by Laura, will take care of the other issues in terms of staggering timing. So at any one point in time, you will not find more than 2 to 3 parents in that neighborhood, in that school. So traffic congestion is unlikely to occur. We will also not be having any event scheduled during the weekends or on the evening hours. It will all be done during the day hours, and we will ensure that uh, all things, for example, graduation, etc., will take place outside the premises. In Campbell, what we do is we hire different auditoriums through some churches or some other places to take care of that, to avoid any kind of congestion in the neighborhood. Having said that, our program, I'll give you some idea of our program, which is based on Montessori method and has been providing small class sizes, as well as providing facilities like music, dance, arts, and crafts, and yoga for children. We offer full-time as well as the part-time program, and so far our parents have been happy, and we have got excellent reviews on Yelp. We request the Planning Commission to consider our project in a positive manner and approve it. In case there are any other questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Thank you very much for your time and the opportunity given to us to handle this project, and we hope having a successful outcome and good neighborly relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask if any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant. I see one hand up from Commissioner Torrens. Is that for a question to the applicant or a question to staff? Yes, great. Please go ahead, Commissioner Torrens.
Okay. So Atul, thank you so much for your presentation. I was reading over the proposal really carefully, and I have some knowledge in this area of this category of childcare. And so I really appreciate the fact that you would be taking a dilapidated vacant building and turning it into something that will provide jobs and that will provide quality childcare for kids in San Jose. Also, I had to laugh when I was reading about the noise that was studied, because I think that the sound of kids laughing and playing and even having an occasional tantrum is a very nice sound to have in a neighborhood. So I think that's really great for the neighborhood. Okay, so that's my comment part. My two questions I have for you are, will there be any changes to your plans with the COVID crisis? Because I know that we're being asked to have smaller class sizes, and I'm just wondering if you're prepared to have a smaller amount of students there to allow for the 6 feet apart, and maybe even having to use your playground as an outdoor classroom. So I'm wondering, that's my first question, is how COVID is going to affect your plan, and if you'll be able to hang in there until we get back to more of a normal state. And then secondly, I'm also interested in the parking situation. So if you want to answer the first question first, that would be fine. And then I'll go to my second question.
So how do I answer now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I am not very much used to working with this Zoom, so I was a bit concerned. As far as COVID is concerned, I do understand it is a big issue, and it is a big issue for us in our current school as well. We were closed for a couple of months, and since beginning of last month, we started it. We have taken care of full things like, keeping 6 foot distance. Our, administrator goes first thing in the morning. They go ahead and check the temperature of the parents as well as the students. Parents are not allowed to enter just beyond the gate, and the students are taken in, kids are taken in, teachers use masks, and they also are, their temperature is taken, and everything is taken care of. Obviously, because of the current situation, not every parent is sending the kids, so the numbers are extremely low at this point, and we are doing okay. But we hope by the time our new school comes up, the COVID would be gone. But if it is not gone, we will work with less number of kids and keep 6 feet distance and make sure that all safety is taken into consideration, and we will not compromise on that a tiny bit.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then my second question was just to understand better the parking situation, because I know you'll have that driveway, you'll have just one in and out for parents, and then the parking lot. And I couldn't quite visualize how that was going to work with 30 parents in an hour dropping off kids and staggering it. I just wondered if you had like a simulation, or if you could explain a little bit how the drop off will happen.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you.
First of all, the Public Works Department had made it clear that that the driveway is at least 25 feet wide, which means the ingress as egress will be no problem at all. There will be sufficient space. Second thing is, as I mentioned to you, 30 parents in an hour is not a very large number, because parents will take not more than 2 to 3 minutes in terms of going in and dropping the kids and driving off. Most of them are in a hurry to get off because they need to go to work. So, which means if 3 or 4 parents at any time are there, that means over a period of 1 hour, you will have, enough time for parents to come in and go out, and 3 to 4 parking spaces will be used for that purpose. And since we have the window from 7:30 to 10 and 3:30 to 6, we have explained it to our traffic consultant, who have conducted a detailed traffic study over a period of last 4 months. And not only this Delwood Way, but they have gone to all the other intersections nearby and ensured that the traffic situation will not have significant impact in this situation.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your questions.
Do we have any other commissioners who have any questions for the applicant? Seeing no other hands, Mr. Sharma, you'll get an opportunity to respond to public comment after the public comment. So at this time, I'd like to open it up, staff, for public comment.
Okay, Petra, you are unmuted now. Please begin to speak.
Thank you. I wrote actually a 6-page letter that I submitted to the Planning Commission, and Patrick and Laura have been fantastic in terms of interacting with me. So I just wanted to recognize that. My first concern is with the daycare center. If we really need a daycare center right there, when I do a simple mobile phone search, I get 20 childcare center results back on the phone alone within a 3-mile radius. And 2 of them are the same system as the one that's being proposed on Dowdwood Way. I'm actually a homeowner on Dowdwood Way, right on the corner of Dowdwood and Ridgewood. And one of those centers is 0.6 mile, and the other Montessori center is 1 mile away. And I think it's because the phone search is just limited to 20. So that's one aspect. The other aspect of it is I've done a lot of research around birth rates and California birth rates and things like that. And when I look at the birth rates, it's actually below the replacement levels. So to break even, we would need to have 2.1 children per woman, and we're only at 1.76. So when I'm looking at the data over the past couple of years, the data is trending down, which makes me believe and question whether or not we really need a daycare center when we already have so many daycare centers in the neighborhood, including 2 using the very, very same system. So this should be enough to meet all the demands today. The second concern, if the Planning Commission approves this question or this project, is parking, traffic, littering, and noise. And the last 2, for the most part, except for the operational noise, really falls out of the question around parking. So the problem with parking in the area is that we have apartments there on Dowdwood, and we also have apartments on Stanwood. For right now, I'm not going to talk about the apartments on Stanwood. On Dowdwood, we're looking at 20 units. Each unit has up to 5 people, the capacity of up to 5 people. We know that some of the units have more, but that's beside the point right now. The problem is that if we look at that the average cars...
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
And we have Jim, but I don't see him in the attendees here. So that concludes our speakers for now.
Okay. I think at this time, I believe I bring the applicant back for an additional 5 minutes, and then we can move to questions from staff, to staff. Mr. Sharma, if you...
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It is strange. This afternoon, I was trying to look at the population of San Jose and this neighborhood, and the point which lady raised just few minutes back. The population density of San Jose per square mile is 5,813 people. This is as per the census records. And area in question, which is like 3-mile radius, which works out to be 28.26 square miles. Population of this area in question is approximately 164,275 people. And based on the census data, population of children between the age of 1.5 and 5 years is 45 to 90. That is for the whole of San Jose. Now, children between this age group in this particular area, which is 28.2 square miles, works out to be 7,071, according to my calculation, which is certainly not a very significant, scientific way of doing it, but I try to do it in a very normal way. Even if we have 20 schools, which having 70 people available in this area, 70 seats, it works out to be 1,400. And we have a population of kids which is 7,000 plus. Therefore, the city planners which are saying that we need a child care is very well established. And if somebody just comes and says that because there are 20 schools, there are no more child care centers required, I don't agree with that assertion. Secondly, in terms of traffic or parking, we are not talking about parking on the streets. We are talking about parking in our area. And if there are other houses or other people are parking on the road or further down, we can't control that, and that is not none of our business. We will not be using that area. Thirdly, if you talk about the traffic congestion, as I mentioned earlier, that the traffic report has been very clear, and it has been done by professionals who are in this business for years, and they took 4 months, and they did the count of the traffic cars and everything, which is detailed in the study, and Public Works Department have gone through it in detail and approved it. So based on this, I feel that we should go by the scientific evidence rather than just general idea of people feeling that the community will be affected. We do understand their concern, and we are very much aware of that, and therefore we will be ensuring that as little disruption happens to them as possible. And secondly, as mentioned by Commissioner Tory, that this is a child care noises are something which is nice to have, and we are going to be removing. That this particular building, there were transients living there. We control them through putting big fences and coming there every other day. Even the cops came and told me that you are doing an excellent job, and we really feel that we can bring value to the community and make this community really as vibrant as possible. And this particular neighborhood is also going to be renovated. We were told that there's a big plan within San Jose, and daycare center in this area would be definitely a very positive addition. And further, we are doing the Montessori program, as I mentioned, that really is something valuable for the kids. And we really need that kind of an environment for our kids to be able to grow with. And based on our experience in Campbell, we have found that parents, even after 5 years, they come back to us and say that
30-second mark.
we have provided is an excellent addition. Thank you very much, and I request you to approve this project once again.
At this time, I'd like to ask the commissioners if anyone has any additional questions for the applicant. I'm not seeing any hands up on the Zoom or in the cameras. So Vera, I believe at this time I can close the public hearing and we can move to any questions for staff.
Yes.
Great. So we'll close the public hearing. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for staff? Not seeing any hands from any of the commissioners. Do we have a motion related to this item? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Oliverio, yes.
Chair, no, I'd just like to make a motion to approve the staff recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Oliverio. Vice Chair Bonilla has seconded.
And that includes the change to the condition of approval in the CUP that was described earlier.
Yeah, as you stated earlier and as staff stated.
Correct. Yes. It's condition number 8. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to take a roll call vote. If we could, Commissioner Bonilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Casey?
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia?
Aye.
Commissioner Lardinois?
Aye.
Commissioner Torrance?
Aye.
Commissioner Caballero is also an aye. And this item passes unanimously. Oh, Commissioner Oliverio, did I call you? I apologize if I didn't.
I'm sorry, what chair?
I said, I don't think I called your name, so.
Oh yeah, aye.
Thank you. That item passes unanimously.
May I ask who the seconder of the motion was? I'm sorry, I missed it. I know Oliverio made the motion. Who was the seconder?
Bonilla.
Vice Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so at this time, we'll move on to item number 6, which is referrals from city council, boards, commissions, or other agencies, and I don't see any items under this.
None?
Thank you, Robert. So we'll move to item number 7, good and welfare. And do we have a report from city council, item 7A?
No land use related matter from city council.
Thank you. Item 7B, review and approve action minutes from June 24th, 2020. Do we have any changes related to that, or do we have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
I'd like to second that.
Great. A motion by Commissioner Oliverio and seconded by Commissioner Torrens. Roll call vote. So Commissioner Torrens?
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia?
Aye.
Commissioner Bonilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Lardinois?
Aye.
Commissioner Casey?
Aye.
Commissioner Oliverio?
Aye.
And Commissioner Caballero is also an aye. So item 7B passes. Item 7C, subcommittee formation reports and outstanding business. I don't see any items related to that. Item 7D, commission calendar and study sessions. I believe this is just an informational item that we have a study session coming up. That the study session for citywide design standards and guidelines scheduled for July 8th has been moved to July 22nd, and the study session scheduled for July 22nd has been moved to August 12th. So, Vera, do we have to do a motion on that? We don't.
No,
correct?
you do not.
Okay,
No,
great.
you do not.
Thank you. Item number E, the public record. I don't see any items related to this. Okay. And with that, our meeting is over. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for bearing with me, and welcome to the Planning Commission, and we can't wait to see you next time.